All right, welcome back. This is where we left off in the previous lesson. We've created our snapshot listener and we've stubbed out our document change functions, and we have our switch statements right here. So let's go ahead and fill out these document change functions. Let's revisit real quick our home vc.swift file where we have already done something similar. So what's happening is when there are changes in the database and in the collection that we are observing, we receive back those changes right here, okay? And there are three types of changes: added, modified, and removed. And we want to take action based on which type of change it is. If it's of type .added, we're going to add it to our collection and reload the data. If it's been modified, there are two cases that we need to look at. It can be modified where the document stayed in the same place in its order, and there's the case where it's been changed and it's changed the location in its order, and then finally the .removed. And we can tell which one is which, or we can do the work that we need to do based on the new and old index properties of the change documents. So for instance, in onDocumentAdded, we are simply inserting the new item and then inserting it into the collection view. In this case, we'll be working with table views. Here is our onDocumentModified and our onDocumentRemoved. So if you want to review these real quick, just so you kind of have an idea again of how we're going to be working with this, go ahead and do that. And let's get started in the products vc.swift. We'll start with onDocumentAdded. Now we are going to need the document change and the product. So here I'm going to say change. We're going to pass into this onDocumentAdded function the document change and the product itself. Product is of type product. There we go. And so then up here we're going to have some missing arguments. I'll say fix, and we'll pass in change. And then we also need the product, and so we'll pass in the product as well. All right, so remember the first time that the view loads, all of the changes, all of the documents that are returned are going to be considered of the type .added. So what we're going to do here is we can just say let new index, the new location that we put it as they are all coming in, or if there's a new one added later, the new index is equal to int change dot new index. And then what we can do is say products, our array, dot insert, and we're going to insert the new product at the new index. And then we're going to say table view dot reload, or I'm sorry, we're going to say table view dot insert rows at, and then we need to initialize an index path. And we're going to do that with row and section. Previously, we used item and section because we were working with a collection view. But since we're with table views now, it's going to be row and section. So this is new index and section is 0. And with table views, we have the option of a UI table view row animation. So to see what types are available, you can just do dot, and then you'll see here that we have automatic, bottom, fade, left, middle, a whole bunch of different animation types, and you can see kind of what those look like. And so you can play around with these. So for instance, the bottom one, it slides in from the bottom, fade. I'm just going to go with automatic and let the table view choose an appropriate animation style for you. So I'm going to say dot automatic. Actually, you know what? Let's go with fade. I like the fade one. All right, so now we have on document modified, document addeds all finished up. So if you recall, we need to check whether the old index is equal to the new index to know how to add the product for onDocumentModified. So we have if change, we need to add in the parameters here. So I'm going to copy the parameters from onDocumentAdded and add those right here. And we're going to say if change.oldIndex is equal to change.new index, or in other words, the item changed but remained in the same position. else the item changed and changed position. Okay. And then we also need to add our arguments up here. So I'm going to copy that here and paste that there. Very good. All right. So for the case where the item changed but remains in the same position, it's pretty straightforward. We need to get the index. So I'm going to say let index equal int. And it doesn't matter which one you use here, whether you use the old or the new index, since they're the same. I'm going to use the new index. And then what we need to do is we're just going to replace the current product in the products array with the new product. So I'm going to say products. Okay, so this is our array of products, and we're going to replace the one at that index with the new product. And then all we have to do is say table view.reload rows at, and then initialize our index path, say row of index, and section is 0. With the animation for this one, since it's not actually moving or anything, let's go with .none. All right, very good. Now for the ones where they change, let's go ahead and create a couple of variables. We're going to need to know the old index and the new index because these are going to be moving around. It changed position. So I'm going to say let old index equal int change dot old index, and then let new index equal int. This will be change dot new index. So now we have our old and new index. And what we're going to do is we're going to remove the product at the old position in our products array, and then insert the new product at the new index. So I'm going to say products dot remove at old index, and then products dot insert the new element, which is product, at the new index. And then we update the table view as well. So I'm going to say table view dot move row. Okay, so this moves the row at a specified location to a destination location. Okay, so we have move row at, and we need an index path. So this is where it used to be. So this is going to be a row at the old index and section 0, and then we're moving it to a new index path location, which is at row of new index and section 0. That looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and save that. And then finally, we have our on document removed function. This one's real easy. All we need is the change. So I'm going to say change, document change, and then up here, we need to pass in that change. And what we do is we are going to remove the product at the old index. I'm going to say let old index equal int change dot old index. So it's been removed, so we need the old index to know where to remove it from. And we're going to say products dot remove at old index. And then we delete that row using table view dot delete rows at, and we initialize our index path like we've been doing at row of old index section 0 with let's say maybe let's do fade again, or let's try left. So when we delete it, it's going to slide out to the left. All right, so that takes care of our 3 document change functions. We have our listener all set up. I think we might be good to go. We just need to remember to call our query right here. And yeah, let's see if this works. I'm going to run it. All right, clicking on any of these categories should take us over there. And oh, check it out. There we go. We are seeing the 2 products that I added, Mountain Range and Ocean View, and their respective images. We haven't set up the price or anything in our product cell, but yeah, this is really working. So we would expect that for landscapes, portraits, that shouldn't be showing those, in the real app. So what we need to do is we need to make it so that when we click on one of these, we are only querying for the products that are related to that category. So we need to set up in our prepare for segue, passing over which category has been clicked on over to our products view controller. And we've done this a bunch of times. So go ahead and pause it, and I want to see if you can get the category ID string from the categories view controller over to, or I should say the home VC over to the products VC, okay? So pause it, give that a try, and we'll go through it together now. So over here in our home VC, well, let me make sure in our products VC, yeah, we already have a category variable here. So in our home VC, what we need to do is, let's come down here. Oh, and you know what? It looks like we actually already did this. I forgot that we did this. We've already set up the destination as the category in the selected category. So hey, there we go. So coming back to the products view controller then, all that's left for us to do is modify our query here. So instead of just looking at the products collection, we're going to tell which products we want to get. And the way to do that, if you remember, is using .where. Okay, so we're going to say .where field, and the field that we want to look at is category, and we want the products where the category's field value matches the category that we've clicked on, category.id, and we want to order it by the timestamp. So I'm going to say timestamp. And that looks real good. Let's go ahead and run this. And what we should expect to see is that it shouldn't show anything, and we're going to get a console log. So if I click on landscapes, this is actually cached results that we're seeing right here. But what we see in here is it says that the query requires an index, and we've seen this once before, and we can create it here. Okay, so just gonna copy this URL, and this is when we are trying to do a composite query, where we're doing a query, or in other words, saying .where in conjunction with a .order. Okay, so when we do a composite query like that, we have to have a composite index. So I'm going to copy this URL, open up a browser, and just paste that right there. And again, we see here it says composite indexes are required for queries that involve include specific values and a range or order. So I'm going to say create index. And you know what? I think we're actually going to have to create another one, because I believe that this order should be descending, set to true. So let's go ahead and run that again, and we should get another URL. All right, so let's try that again. And sure enough, we do get another URL here. So I'm going to copy this, just going to paste that in here. And that's because it's very specific. So before it created the composite index for ascending, we need it to be descending because we want the most recent product to be at the top. So I'm going to say create index, and we'll wait for this to finish. It does take a few minutes for these to build, so just got to be patient. And once this is finished, I'll be back and we'll run this again. All right, that has finished being created, so we can go back into Xcode. Run this again, click on landscapes, and there we have it. I think the order switched as well. Let's go back into our categories, and now if we click on one of these other ones, we shouldn't see anything load. Yes, good. So we are only in fact querying and fetching back results that match the particular category. And since I don't have any products in either of these other categories, we aren't seeing anything here. Let's go ahead and check that our document change functions are working. So here in landscape, and then I'm going to open up our database here, and then squish this over. All right, so we have a couple of products here. Let's go ahead and change the mountain range to just say mountains and say update, and we should see that update. That's good. All right, so our onModified for where they're the same is working. Let's change the timestamp so we can see that as well. So I'm gonna move this one, let's see here, to the 15th. So we should see mountains go up to the top now. Save that, and yep, there we go. All right, very good. And then let's see here, for the ocean view, let's go ahead and delete it and make sure that's working as well. And we should see that slide out to the left. Delete, and there we go. Beautiful. Alrighty. So hey, that's our products view controller. That's pretty much what we need to be happening right now for this. Let's go ahead and clean up this query here. Let's go over here to products, and we're going to modify this right here. Instead of a straight up variable, we are going to make this a function. So I'm going to say func products. We're going to take in the category ID, so category of type string, and we are going to be returning now a query. And we're going to return collection, and let's just grab this dot where field. Here we go. Gonna cut that. Come back to here and then paste that right here. So what we're doing here is we're creating a function that is an extension of our Firestore, and just gonna change that to just category. We're gonna pass into it the category and then return a query that matches what we've been working with, the collection, the products. We're going to return where the category is equal to the category that we pass in here and order it by timestamp descending. Save that, go back to our products view controller, and right here, we're gonna say db.products, and then we're gonna pass into it the category dot.id. There we go, much cleaner, love it. All right, so that is looking real good. We're gonna finish up this video right here, and I'll see you all in the next one.